Lights, camera, and action. Welcome to the Channel 135 podcast. This is the show we talk about our favorite things in life, movies, TV shows, and pop culture. I'm your host, Cams, here in West Auckland. And I'm tuning in with the brother all the way from the Gold Coast over to Tasman. Simon, what's up, man?
Sally, man, also. What's up, bro? Yeah, thanks for having me on also.
It's good to have you on, man. It's good to have true fans of the Yellowstone to come on to deep dive into the episode and whatnot. So, yeah, man, it's good to have you on. Before we get into it, man, I just want to go around and do some Insert the Clip segment we do every week. What have you been watching? What have you been watching, Us?
It's see. Solid, man. I was just thinking about it now when you mentioned it. Just before we jumped on, bro. Like my streaming kind of life at the moment's very poor, man. I find myself starting off, watching shit, falling asleep to it, and not getting back to it for a while. Cobra Kai, that fucking lasted a couple episodes before I was like disinterested. But I'm probably not really giving the proper time to it. That's why I was a bit glad when Yellowstone come around. Because it was another one, the Menendez brothers. See, I started with that, and there was a good 2 or 3 episodes into it. But then once again, I didn't finish that. It's a bit like my my diet plans. Starting a lot of different series, but not going through with it and finishing it. But yeah, bro. And over here, the Union is on Stan, which is what I watch Yellowstone on. Stan's just another streaming service. I'm not sure if that goes back home, but it's all right. It's got a few. It's got good, decent movies, but I just don't watch it. I just get it because of the footy, because of the rugby union now. But since Yellowstone's on there, because I was just gonna cut it and wait for the Super Rugby to start again, eh? So now Yellowstone's on. I must probably just watch the end of that. They had a lot of those random ones, like Fresh Prince was on there, but that the recent one, I just could not. The new one, I just could not get into that, bro. Hey, it's not drama, man. It's like
seriously, it's not funny. Eh?
Yeah, well, it is. They try to be, but it's Gen Alpha stuff funny. But when you think back to Fresh Prince, it was a little bit goofball funny, eh? It wasn't funny like watching a stand-up special, like when you watch a Martin, eh? But what stood out for me was the serious bits in Fresh Prince, eh?
Yeah.
But that was like more the culture, eh? This is a rapper now, he's on TV. But bro, to answer your question, also, the streaming life is pretty shit. There's a lot of good stuff on there, but I just don't have the time, eh? But definitely, I'm always a fan of a decent TV series or doco, especially a movie, man. We're gonna resurrect the our movie potty. Also, what are we calling that again? Also?
The Late Returns film review.
Late Returns, man. Our boy Isaiah's Pokolame, bro. You got any plans for that? Any movies you've been watching?
Yeah, just a few. I've watched a few. I've got a list of all the movies I watched all this year. I've decided to record them down on a bit of paper, or just
on. Are we talking about going to the theater or just movies in general?
Any kind of movie, any kind of
watching
movie.
at home,
streaming, theater, or any. So I've actually made a list there. So I've got. I can't count, but since January the 1st until now, the last movie I saw was Salem's Lot. That's on HBO Max.
What's that like?
I don't know if you guys got HBO Max over there in Australia. But we have that now over here now. It's on Sky.
Oh yeah.
But now there's Salem's Lot. That's the last movie I watched. But man, I started watching this new series on Prime called Landman, and it's the same creators of Yellowstone created this new series called Landman. It's about the oil industry in Texas.
That guy Taylor Sheridan.
Yeah. So so he's got this new series called Landman. It's on season 1 right now, and it's only 3 episodes in. The stars Billy Bob Thornton. He works for an oil company.
But
He works for an oil company, and his
yeah.
job is to secure the lease of lands where oil
Yeah.
is. And
Fuck yeah,
but
that's his prime character, eh? He plays that fucking redneck sounding
yeah, man.
Texas guy. He's a natural
But, he,
drawl in the speech,
but he's
eh?
sort of like, but
Billy
you know,
Bob, eh?
if anything, it's Taylor Sheridan. He would have written Billy Bob Thornton's character like a John Dutton sort of character, but more
Yeah,
like a rugged type, because he's not like
yeah,
big time or anything. He just works for this oil company, but his job is to secure the leases of lands. But the thing is, these oil companies, they don't actually buy the land; they just want the oil underneath. So the owners of the land get to keep their land, but the oil companies always want to put our we want to drill into your land, and that's what we want to do. But we'll pay for it. We'll pay you to put our oil rigs on there, and if you need a new road, we'll pay for that too. So he has to manage the land after that. But there's a lot of drama. So no, it's pretty good. I think it'll be a good series to watch after Yellowstone finishes.
yeah, bro. These guys are really shaking the fucking genre for everything it has, eh? I mean, you look at Costner, who we mentioned him before with the John Dutton character, but we forget he's a executive producer, right? And he's gone off and done his own Cowboys series and stuff. So there's plenty in there, and I'm wondering about whether these Harrison Ford's one was a good one, man, too. Only one season. What was that called? Is it 1922 or
1923? Yeah.
1923? But I thought that I kind of got I watched that one like in one whole go. I think like
Yeah.
overnight.
It was a short day. It was.
Yeah. Which is half the reason why I'm invested to the series, the original, because now you've got that under your belt. I watched not the whole series, but the original one. The Chig and the daughter was. And are you familiar? I keep seeing a couple. I think I got it down packed, bro. But the family tree of the
Okay.
putting all the characters together. You familiar with it?
I know Harrison Ford is the uncle. He's not the
Yeah,
actual line. He's
yeah,
looking after it. Because the sons are all overseas and all that kind of stuff.
yeah. That's right. And I think the guy that Harrison Ford's nephew, that's like John Dutton, John Dutton Costner's character. I think that was his granddad.
Yeah.
His granddad.
Yeah, that's the grandparents
Yeah.
generation just coming up. Because I know there's another spin-off coming out with Matthew McConaughey. It's called 1944.
Which
So
is what?
1923, 1944.
Adam's dead.
I don't know.
Is that for real or is that?
Yeah. I've seen the.
McConaughey.
I've read about it. Yeah, McConaughey.
If they're gonna use
man,
him, you want to watch it, eh? He's got some. He's a real Texas. He's a Texas native.
He's got the accent and everything, man.
45, so that'll cover most of the fucking. So we'll go into the fucking with the in gears, and then that jumped a couple of generations to start of the 20th century. With but I like that's a pretty kingpin cast too, eh? With Ford and his wife in that movie, which is played by that famous English actress that's in there, eh? You remember the one?
Yeah, I forgot her name though.
Yeah. So, man, there's another series there. I don't know about the original one, the first one. That was kind of weird too, eh? That first one, I found it like so interesting with the Indian. I was more drawn to the Indian storyline. How this chick was caught by the church. And
church,
that's just real around the world, throughout time. Hey, how many fucking back home? How many dodgy fucking church fucking boy homes for these motherfuckers in charge of? That went culture, bro. Hey, but the number one, the indigenous cultures, they suffered by the hands of the church. Don't want to be too controversial, but you know what I mean, bro. Those themes, man.
I'm wondering if that storyline of that Indian girl she's family line to
The
Monica.
guy. Yes.
So
Hey.
Monica and Casey.
Oh, Monica. I thought you were gonna say the rich Indian walking around in his suit with his bodyguard.
It might be too, eh? Might be. I think his name is Rainwater.
Mm.
Yeah, it might be that direct link to
Yeah.
them, eh? To that family, yeah. But no, man, the Yellowstone land or ranch and the Dutton family land is well documented in in film. A fictional story about, man, well documented over the
Yeah.
generations, eh, man.
Wow, if it's true about what you say with McConaughey in the 1940, fuck, bro. And that's
Yeah.
around the wartime too. That's around like the world's changing. Hey,
Mm,
and the
mm,
start to the middle of the 20th century. Imagine cowboying back then. How fucking hardcore it was back then. You look how hardcore Rip and John Dutton were going in this era.
mm.
But yeah, man, interesting times. I don't know if I might be Yellowstoned out after this series ends. It depends on where it goes. But it
Yeah.
was a fucking good step up, man. This episode
Mm.
coming was good, eh? It was a
Yeah.
good.
Well, we'll just get straight into it, man. So, yeah, before we get into I'll do the recap. Yeah, man, like, how do you rate this episode compared to what we've seen so far? Because for me, it's probably the best one so far. But how would you feel about this episode when you finished watching it?
Well, out of you're talking about the since we've come back, the restart part 2 of season 5 of the 3 episodes now, definitely the best. We mentioned it last week,
Of the
and
three
you always mentioned
three
it
episodes,
yeah, after episode 1. We all kind of agreed that the pace of it was a little bit slow, but setting up and definitely was a step up in terms of the pace of it. And you'll get into it a little bit longer, but I had everything. I had the twists, I had the fucking wow moment. And I also had what I thought was missing in the prior 2 episodes was that movie feel. Every single time you watch an episode, it doesn't matter whether you're caught up or you haven't seen it at all, but you're able to watch one episode like it's a fucking brand new movie. And I didn't realize, but the opening scene was fucking mad. It was like, before the credits, even that was a good setup, bro, for all of that. So it had it all, bro. And it was not all 40 minutes of action gunfights, but it was intriguing, man. Especially following Casey and what he did throughout that episode. It was almost a bit of like a who did it hunt that he's on, which is basically what he's on now. It's a one man band when it comes to his investigation team and the way he went about it. And there was some good themes going on there with the land and what they're gonna do with Beth and their role, bro. But yeah, whether that fucking knockout moment at the end was whoo-wee. So you didn't know I saw that shit coming, eh? I was like half and half disappointed and half going, yeah, all right. We think has to top that for the next episode. Yeah, man, that was plenty. What do you think, Goose?
Yeah, like I said, man, I thought that was the best episode so far out of these last 3 episodes that we have got. And I think I was talking about it last episode, how I was saying the pacing and how I was conscious that, man, we only got 6 episodes, man, and 2 down and nothing's really happened. Like with this 3rd episode, this is what you want. You want things to push forward and things to happen. And then what happened at the end, like you said, for me, it was like, okay, what's going to happen now? Because it sort of put everything up in the air. Like, what the fuck? We just turned a big detour, So in terms of story wise, now it's like intriguing because now I don't know what's going to happen now, right? So we'll see in the next episode. But yeah, man, I thought it was a good episode. The pacing was good. We got a little bit of detective work going on with got a little drama with that. We got a little flashback in the beginning. Sort of got some action at the end, and some confrontations too. Some interesting confrontations. One that I'll bring up when we talk about spoilers because it was like it was opposites what happened in the last episode with a certain character. So, yeah, man, I thought just like you, man, this episode was intriguing enough and it's pretty entertaining. And yeah, man, I think the pacing is going up, and I think with 3 episodes to go, I think the last episode is gonna explode, man. So just gearing up for that.
It was funny because when the bro Eric was on with us, we kind of almost had we're agreeing with each other on our we're trying to call what was happening, eh? You know, we all had had shots at maybe Beth's gonna die, but none of us planned for what happened. You're gonna mention in the spoiler to happen, but like just the death of a character and stuff like that. We thought with the first 2 episodes setting it up, we kind of thought that's where it's heading. But yeah, bro, episode 3 was kind of like just we have no idea where it's gonna head. It was an awesome way, it was almost like a Pulp Fiction kind of way. Also, I almost find it hard to keep up between the past tense and then coming back to what's happening in real time. Did you get that? You know what I mean? Like
in the beginning, I did. I was a bit confused in the beginning.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. That whole the credits before the credits come on, and it's so cool to have the credits coming back, like having a decent. It's like, hey, that's 80s, 90s kind of style of programming. But to have that mini movie almost like a short film that was full on in there with how they just kind of painted the picture of what led up to John Dutton's, without trying to go too much. But that was cool, eh? And then they went back to the real time with Casey after the credits came on. So I mean, I think that all added to the intrigue of the episode for me. Was going back and forth and finding out what happened gave you a lot, eh? Finding out what happened with John. Boom. This is what happened. Now we're gonna go. This is what's led up to the reactions from his kids.
Yeah, and it was critical how we knew what happened to John because it's sort of made up for the scene, the detective scene. When we'll talk about that too. But yeah, man, I think we all agreed that that character we thought was gonna die, but we didn't expect that character to die early, early as we thought. But before I give anything more away, I'll get into some fucking recaps because it's time to do some spoilers. All right, I'm just about to do the WesWes what the hell happened recap. Here we go. Season 5, episode 11, called 353, directed by Christina Voros, written by Taylor Sheridan. Flashback: Rip leaves Beth in the hotel and gets back to the crew at the 4-6's ranch. Beth drives back to Montana but has a feeling something is wrong. Casey wakes from a nightmare and his phone rings. We see how John Dutton gets killed when 3 hitmen burst into his house. The present day. Jamie has meetings with the new governor about reopening the lease deal agreement between the Dutton Ranch and the state. Senator Linnell warns both that the land deal could ruin Montana. KC gets the coroner to perform another examination of John's body and discovers suicide was in fact a homicide. Casey visits Jamie and throws him over his desk. Jamie reassures Casey it wasn't him who killed their father. The news reports John's death, a homicide investigation, while Sarah Atwood watches in horror and Grant, the contractor, scrambles. Mo and Rainwater visit the Dutton Ranch. Rainwater and Beth talk about how the Dutton land will be lost. Sarah tries to call the contractor. Jamie confronts Sarah about the news report on his father John. Sarah leaves and is assassinated in her car while at a stoplight and on the phone to Jamie. And that was your WesWes what the hell happened recap. Okay, man, favorite scene, man?
Favorite scene would have to be Jamie at the end acting like a fucking bitch ass nigga when fucking his little puppet master got her ass fucking shot in the face. Like, that was a fucking slap in your face moment. Like, what the hell? But
Yeah.
that was gangster shit, man. But then
Mm.
having Jamie on the end of the phone to hear that and then just fucking realize, you're next, motherfucker. You got no one. Because just prior to that scene, it's just this world had been slowly on a slippery slope. And the way, and you know what real ingled me earlier in the episode, what really pissed me off was when he looked in Casey's eyes and just lied like a fucking snake. How he didn't know he was involved, blah, blah, blah. And Casey kind of, after he called him off the desk, I was like, yeah. But nah, bro, he was like, held back, just kind of like, tell me, look at my eyes. Like, come on, bro. Casey's quite a bit more level-headed than his sister Beth, who did more damage when she entered the office the last episode. But just how, and that was gangster, right? The way Casey, I'm stretching now my moments of fucking scenes here, but it was like a cool episode of following this guy, following the son that he knew deep down his dad didn't commit suicide, and he just fucking figured that shit out in one whole. Oh, not figured it out. He knew, but it took a bit to prove it, and just to use his little fucking cattle cop, and he hit the fucking he hit the what do you call it, the detective on the straight away online and cool. Hey, just talking with the coroner. But yeah, it was a lot going on, bro. But just see him look at Casey in his eyes and lie like a snake, and just you saw him. He turned. He's even more evil in my eyes when he started acting like that. Just started like acting like a little bitch. Like, oh, I wouldn't do that. I've got nothing. And the thing is, we've got a good indication here of why he's doing what he's doing, because he's not on the wheel. He's fucked over Dutton. He's fucked over that family. He's not real blood. And now, like, having no political leg to stand on, I think that's why that whiny little bitch was crying. Not so much because of his puppet master and his fucking, his dominatrix queen died, but also his ticket to fucking get anywhere. What is he going to do now? He's been unfucked politically when that guy said to him, I'm standing you down. The new governor. And so he thought that he was like going to be the next governor in line. Life was going to be cheery and sweet. But your boss just got killed, got fucking assassinated. You're next, bitch. And you just saw him crying like a bitch. That was my favorite fucking scene.
One thing about that scene, and to me, told a lot about who Jamie is and who his demons are, right? And who he's scared of. And he is fucking scared of Biff. That is his weakness. Because he didn't even look Biff in the eye. He looked Casey in the eye and lied to his face. And he was squirming and he was talking shit and all of that. Yeah. He did not do that to Beth. And Beth has some, and I don't know if it's because of the trauma he has and the guilt he feels after, what he did to Beth when they were young kids, taking her to that abortion thing. Maybe that's just scarred him for life, man. And ever since then,
definitely for Beth on her side, this is where the hatred's coming from. And but then he's done nothing to, and Beth's eyes, and this is the truth, he's done nothing to really his dad, or not his real dad, but Dutton wanted him to be. He wasn't a natural cowboy. You're a little punk ass bitch, so use your brains. But he double crossed him with his brains, bro. Hey, you know what I mean? He kind of looked at Dutton and the way he treated the other kids, and he was like, oh, poor me. Like, fuck, man, now you gotta be grateful that you're even in this family, man. And he's giving you a free education. But he had that power of knowledge, and he used it against John Dutton, against Beth, man. He's just weakling. He just allowed other people to channel which is what Sarah Atwood was doing, bro. That was the funny bro. That she wanted the power. She was after the power, and she knew through him as a governor, that's the power. But what's scary is that it's not even the Duttons that killed her. Eventually, they were going to probably kill them all. But who's this fucking, there's one super villain out there that's scared that this shit's gonna come back to them. And you know that there's some kind of, the contractors, they're different, but there's someone that hired the contractors. Who's that person? My thing is about those hotel people, this is that old lady. Remember that old lady that was talking tough? He was with that dude. The dude that was always with Sarah Atwood.
Yeah.
But that's part of like some kind of consortium, some kind of group, right? That's building hotels and shit like that. Is it them?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. We haven't seen her yet, eh? We haven't seen that old lady yet.
No, that's what I mean, bro. That's what I mean. She had a thing in it for Beth, in it for this family. But that's what I mean. Like he eventually, to me, it's gonna be cool watching him go and hunt down these contractors. They knew their military base because he figured out the way his dad might have got strangled and blah blah blah. That's cool. I'm looking forward to that. But it's the greater trying to solve this mystery. Like who hired the contractors, man? You know, is it straightforward, just a money thing? People that were after them, and that's the big question mark for me.
Because we know Sarah initiated it, but who told Sarah to go ahead with it?
Yeah,
because it's not coming out of Sarah's bank account, right?
Yeah.
If it costs 50 mil for those contractors, it's not coming from Sarah Atwood's bank account.
And you know her connection that she was talking with that. And you know, it was funny to watch her unravel, this character who was like that Poison Ivy kind of sexy, sultry kind of villain. When she saw the news of Dutton, opening it up, not as a suicide, but reinvestigation, she almost just started sacking it, especially when she tried to call her boss or the one in between that she's working with, and then no one wanted to have anything to do with them, eh? It's like all these people involved are scrambling. Hey, scrambling. Oh, I don't want to. I want to distance myself. Yeah, and she felt that. You could tell, you know, just before she died in that car, she was like uneasy, especially when Finn came to visit her.
I didn't think about that. So what you're saying is the true enemy hasn't been revealed yet, eh? True enemy.
Obviously, someone went to all this trouble of hiring fucking professionals for them to kill Dutton and make it look like a suicide. And that's the simple question. It is that's the true villain. Who wanted Dutton dead, and why do they want him dead? Why do they want him dead? To go to all this trouble to hire professionals to try and make it look like a. And I'm glad that we got that in the opening scene of this episode when we go to that scene where just before Beth she's like rings Rip. Says, "Are you guys all right?" She's got this feeling something's happened. Hey, something's happened, bro. But she didn't know it was about John Dutton. It was about Kevin Costner's character. And then when we find out that he, you know, we see the scene in the bathroom. It's cool because I brought it up last week. It put an end to the holes in the script where like, fuck, how can you make him like kill? Everyone should know that this tough man would never commit suicide. Why is everyone believing this rhetoric? And then the way that was important to create this falling of the pieces or shaking of the tree, as they say. And that's what happened when Casey managed to find out that the death, and let's go all the way to the coroner and work with her, do all this work. Once that shit came on the TV, you saw these villains start trembling, and watching their downfall was fucking funny.
I'm gonna say, like, how we know how dumb and stupid that Jamie is, and he got coerced into doing what he did, and he believes he didn't know about it, or he's dumb enough to deny it, or dumb enough to think, I didn't mean that, you know, and still go along with it. Like, would you give him a pass for being dumb? Or are we past that stage? Or we past that? Or we? Or the fact that he didn't even own up to to Casey at that moment.
Yeah.
That was his time
But
to own up.
I'm pretty sure that there's last season before the break that there's an episode there where he's talking to that girl, that lady, and she's kind of asked, "Would you do anything to blah 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 against your dad and get power?" And he kind of admitted to it. Yep, do everything.
Mm.
And I don't think we should give him a pass for naivety, bro. This guy's an intelligent guy, man. You know, and he knows what's going on, and he's in a position to know everything about his family, everything about the Dutton family, everything about the Yellowstone. He's their family lawyer. He's the one, and once it was revealed from John Dutton that he wasn't in the will, that's when he turned for his own sake to fucking, which was dumb anyway, because he's a fucking intelligent lawyer that's working the politics. He would have done well on his own. You know what I mean? But I think he was after that greed. He was showing that greed. He was after that real wealth, which Yellowstone has through their land, to try and fucking play them with the hotel and be the governor and all that shit. So I think there was a true evil that maybe wasn't there at the start, but kind of revealed itself through his emotional, and he just wasn't an emotionally strong character that couldn't stand up to his sister, couldn't stand up to his dad. Yeah, someone who's probably come up from a really good background and just whose life turned to shit through bad decisions, bro.
Yeah, this was a pretty heavy episode featuring Casey and Jamie. We don't see Rip at all besides the first 2-3 minutes.
Wasn't really
of the
Rip and Beth's moments, Ales.
Yeah, exactly. And I suspect with 3 episodes to go, the only cowboy stuff we are ever gonna see is the last 2 episodes that we saw. Hence the flashback. I think the flashbacks was to give us some cowboy stuff and give us some context of what's going on with
but
the
we
war.
Mentioned last week that was a interesting story as well. I this goes with there's a fucking ranch, can't pay for its bills, man. So definitely, especially with Rip, I think he's gonna be him and those characters. We have to know where they go, bro. And there's an interesting thing that happened with Beth and the Inkia dude. We have to stop saying Inkia, but you know what I mean, Native American. And that's they could be working together, you know, which we kind of saw hints of that when she didn't have a big role, but that I think that's the second story, bro. The first story is the death. The fucking it's almost like a heist. This is gonna be interesting. This is where the action's coming from. Is who killed John Dutton. And the second story, the theme is, and going forward as well, is what's going to happen with the ranch, man. Because I think that's important. We have to keep these characters cowboying. They have to. It has to be still a ranch. It has to be cowboys. Otherwise, what's this show going to be about, man?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I meant. Like, we never saw any cowboy stuff in this episode. But we did see a lot of detective work going on, some murder mystery kind of style, especially with KC approaching the coroner. And man, just it shows how much you appreciate communication technology these days with his cell phone, because the way he uses his phone, he uses his phone in like real time to make things happen. That was pretty cool. Like, he was there at the office.
How realistic is that? You're really just the livestock. Is it a livestock commissioner or something? Your area of expertise, but you can just walk into a coroner, a public health. This is my dad. I need you to do this and that, and that's really kind of pulling strings. But as you said,
well, those kind of departments to me. See, those kind of departments, you've got your police force. That's your obvious thing. You obviously got a police force, but then you got to have these departments that handle specific areas of enforcement. Like, I think his job had been the what was his position? The
livestock.
He's like a livestock. So yeah, you know, when shit goes down at the farms, you gotta You're gonna investigate the livestock and animals and all that shit. So maybe because they're Montana, all about ranches and that they put a big emphasis on animals and livestock and that, and so they treat it seriously. So you're allowed to barge in.
Yeah, but I think there was an element as well about of people higher up trying to suppress the investigation of this, and that's what we're shown. I remember that comment that when the coroner lady mentioned to Casey, she apologized. Sorry, I didn't pick up on this.
Yeah,
because it wasn't for Casey, she wouldn't know what to look for because they were looking for a suicide. So
that's
it
right.
was kind of hints, and then he goes after she apologized, something like, "Oh, that's all right. You weren't meant to know," or something like that along those lines. Which I don't know, kind of hints that maybe there is someone in a suit that's connected that can make these things happen. They can have a say with local police authorities, or it might not happen on the local police. It's probably like over and above their pay grade. You know what I mean? But yeah.
I felt sorry for that helper dude. That Casey said, "Oh, can you come here? I'll show you." Because it takes him out.
Yeah, it was cool. Because he single handedly did everything himself, bro. He went and investigated the coroner and forced a brand new report out of her. And just the way he painted the picture, and this is a professional man, allowing some cowboy dude to come and explain, but everything was scientifically backed up. Once he mentioned how many people, the bruises were there were scratches on the toes of evidence.
That was after he performed the snatch on that guy.
Yeah, bro.
So if you were that guy, what would you do? Would you give Casey a hiding after that?
You ain't giving him a hiding. But knowing it's in America, he could probably have reason to sue. But like you say, the majority of the episode didn't have too much action until at the end there, right? But it was the intrigue behind it and why you were on the edge of your seat was following Casey. Something was, and it opened up as like a real lovey-dovey scene with his missus. And that's why it's almost like, I think Eric mentioned that maybe something's going to happen in the home or something like that. Hey, before he goes on his John Wick rampage, it wasn't a John Wick rampage, it was more an investigative thing where he narrowed it down to he's pretty close. I think next scene, next
I still think he's
episode, we're going to be he's going to be fighting.
I feel like he's going to
die. Casey, I think next episode he's probably due to meet those 4 guys involved, the contractors, and he's probably going to go and kill them because he's done everything else on the property. Hey, you know what I mean?
I did a sneaky internet search and on opinions and that. And man, there was one interesting one. You know the guy his mate he called. Remember his mate last episode?
Yeah, to find out. Yeah,
he was wearing black.
Get some information.
Maybe he was the one coming back from killing John Dutton. Maybe he didn't even know that was Casey's dad.
Hey, yeah, I remember that scene.
Because he was walking back to his house.
Yeah,
and he was wearing black.
Arriving back.
So,
interesting. Nah.
So that's an interesting one. And the other thing was, in the end, when Sarah gets killed, who was that man from? Was that from the contractor, or was that from her work? Was it from the old lady, or was it from Biff?
Yeah, because we don't know. Well, my thing is, we were trying to figure out who the villain is. That's her work, because she works for those people who are making this development happen, right?
Yeah.
That guy, the guy in the suit that they're always with meetings.
Yeah.
Him and the old lady.
Which
she hasn't been not since last season or season 8.
But that's why the old lady brought Sarah in, because she was getting her ass kicked on season.
Yeah. So my thing is these guys mean business because they got a bit of money. So obviously they don't want the people involved to connect the dots to them. Right? which fucking puts Jamie in the firing line. Yeah, that's a good point, and it could. I don't think it's going to be the Duttons, bro. They're still figuring out who did it. I definitely her bosses, bro, because look, they had broke contact with her on the phone, man. That's when she dropped her sex with the phone. You getting me there, Us?
Yeah.
Sorry, mate. Getting some technical difficulties. But yeah, you know the issue with the phone where she couldn't, and then she put it on a fucking brave face when Jamie walked in. She started losing it then. So who is the people that she's talking to? Like, who could have been, man? I don't know if it was the Yellowstone. I mean, if it was the Dutton fans or anything. But yeah, my money's on their bosses, bro. Especially when they broke communication with Sarah Atwood, and that's when we saw her fucking just capitulate. You could see the stress in her eyes. That was what was interesting, eh? Her when she's this confident character, and as soon as she couldn't fucking use that cell phone, and she was smashing it up, she knew someone was after her, eh?
They know who she was ringing. She wasn't ringing the contract there.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, there was someone, that character, that man.
She could be ringing her boss, the old lady.
Yeah, no, not the old lady, but there was that.
Her mate, her.
There was that character, bro.
Because
I don't know what his job was, but he was the first one. He was like the interconnecting that pretty much told Sarah that he's dead. Remember from the first episode? Since they come back? He was on this episode as well. Kind of white spiky.
He was sitting on a white spiky here.
Yeah. Like almost half bald, but there is a character that's been talking to Sarah about what's happening and someone died. But as soon as she figured out that they ain't trying to no contact now, she knew someone's coming. Who do you think it is?
Yeah, I actually forgot it was that old lady. So maybe it was her. She hasn't come out yet, so she's still in the background somewhere.
Yeah,
but yeah, like that guy that Casey called up his old army mate. Well, he said something about that job like that will cost 50 mil.
Oh yeah,
40 mil. So it's definitely someone with deep pockets, eh? So it has to be her boss. That's what I think. But yeah, that death scene, that Sarah, man, that was shocking. Eh? It was like shit. She went out like that. But I had a sinking feeling she was gonna get shot, eh? Because it was kind of like, here she is panicking, and she doesn't get her way. She doesn't make contact with who she's trying to ring, but the camera still follows her. Like when she leaves Jamie, and then we still see her in the car, and like obviously looks like there's gonna be a drive-by happening.
Bro, I caught it. But I caught it watching it. Yeah. I don't want to blow my own horn, but honest to God, I caught it. Just the way that, because we saw the camera pan out a bit, and just to make, just to paint the picture. Oh, okay. She's stopping at the lights. You know what I mean? Like, we're following her in the car, talking to Jamie Schuster, talking to him on the car, but then just when she gets up to it, it makes a point of panning out. And we see the shot. Okay, by herself. And then I was like you. I was like, oh, fuck, this is a shoo-in for a drive-by. But it wasn't. Almost. So it's a long conversation. And so maybe I'm thinking when she goes, someone's gonna boom, hey, like fucking smash into the car. And I had all these things.
Yeah.
But then when that people pulled up, I kind of like totally forgot about it. I was like, oh nah, we'll see where this is going. And it still shocked me. I think it was just the way that these are real professionals. These guys are gonna pretend like there's some lost couple from outside of town looking for directions. So that was the last thing you'd expected, bro. And then this fucking geeky dad looking motherfucker comes out and like finishes the job point blank almost, bro, and fungus her in the sauce.
Yeah. It's probably her own boss, eh?
You saw it
trying to tie up loose ends.
You saw it coming, but were you still shocked like I was?
Yeah, I was shocked at how it happened.
Some gangster shit, eh?
Yeah. And then the last scene we see Jamie just crying on his phone. And then Jamie realizes, shit, my number's on their phone.
Yeah.
Like when the police come investigate, they're gonna see that's the last person she called. They're gonna go to the house. Like he rang 911 straight away. He had to anyway.
Yeah.
If he hadn't, then it'll be suspect. But the thing is, right? They're gonna investigate the house. When she smashed up the phone, it's in the rubbish bin. So they're gonna check that out.
Yes.
Right?
Maybe they're setting him up.
And
are they setting him up?
True, eh? Might be, yeah. So yeah, man. It's bro. It was a good episode, man. It was good to have that bridge between now and the last 3 episodes. So I think when it comes to any end of any series or TV series, the last 3 episodes are the big ones, eh?
Yeah, but like,
so now
all the
stakes are high now.
At this time, at the end of last week, she was the number 1 villain on our list, eh? Like we were like, fuck, this chick's pulling all the strings.
Yeah.
Now what? Like, who do we as consumers want? We want Jamie gone, don't we? And like, outside of him, is that really is it? Apart from Casey's chasing the guys that actually did it, but in terms of all that story with Jamie going to governor, I think that's done and dusted. Eh? I thought it was going to be a long drawn out thing between those two against Beth and Casey, but nah, not really, bro. Jamie's he's not in power, and now his fucking puppmaster is dead. So I don't know what more we're going to see out of Jamie, really.
Yeah, he's lost all his position and his job and whatnot. So he's just the guy that's out there flapping in the wind, and we'll just see what happens to him, because I think it'll just come. I think there'll be that final showdown between him and Beth. Maybe we get to see Beth kill him, and then he's the last person that he sees. She's the last person that he sees, and that because she said it. Before we wrap up, last thing I want to touch on is the scene between Biff and Rainwater, because it was like it was telling what's going on with the ranch. Like they're gonna actually lose it. So what I got out of it was they're gonna lose the whole ranch if they don't sell a part of it, because they need money to pay the tax, right? And what the state's trying to do, they're trying to make the land cheap by, I don't know what they're trying to devalue the land, so they can buy it cheap.
Yeah, and now they've approved the lease to this company as well.
Yeah, that's right. So what's going to happen is that looks like that Jamie and Casey and Tate, for that matter, have only one option. If they want to keep their land, they got to sell part of it, and that's it. So it was a cool conversation with Rainwater and Biff. And we get to see, the end. It's pretty sad because Rainwater's always been adversary with John. Rainwater's always wanted that land because it was originally his family's land. No, it was the Indian land, right? So he's always wanted to get the land back, but it looks like he doesn't have the money to get it back anymore. And him and Biff's having that conversation to try and come to terms with what's going to happen if they can actually do something about it. So it's interesting, that conversation, because it might happen at the end. I don't know, but maybe at the end what happens is that Rainwater and the Indians take back that part that they need to sell.
Yeah. Right, I think
that'll be a happy ending.
I think it's kind of almost an intrinsic theme that we've seen from the very start, first season, is this relationship between the Duttons and the Indians has been quite special, because outside of cowboying, outside of providing for his family, which is through the farming of cattle, this family has really championed conservation style of looking after the poor. I know that kind of almost sounds like contradictive, because the greenies say that cattle farming is bad for the environment, but you've seen the stance in John Dutton about how he don't want to just give off different parts of his land, which he owns vast amounts of, to progress, bro, to people who want to come and make money off it, build airports, build ski resorts. He's been really championing that kind of conservation, almost just not, and that was probably the downfall of him, because he didn't want to. He didn't want people like California. He didn't want these other states where bringing in tourism. He wanted to keep the nature and the natural elements of Montana as is, bro, as it is. And that's why I think it's quite, I don't know, I might be reaching here and looking too much into it, but it's just interesting. It's cool. We're definitely going to see a relationship there. Maybe they're going to team up, the Native American of that land there, the true owners of that land, team up with the Dutton family, which is almost a throwback to the last of that kind of lifestyle versus progress, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's almost like you said last episode, reverse colonization. Eh? It's sort of like, this is what the Māoris meant when they made a deal with the crown with the Treaty of Waitangi. Like, exactly. we can share the land.
Exactly.
Yeah. We don't want to see your fucking airports and all that shit. We want to keep the land as it is, right?
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what John Dutton has done and what he's fighting for. Well, actually, the whole Dutton family has fought for over the generations to conserve that land.
Yeah.
And Rainwater, he actually mentions to Biff, my grandparents, it's good to see this land still in the same shape my grandparents walked on.
Yeah.
You know? And so, even though he does
a taste of what colonization feels like to a people, and how the land means to them. And because he's been here for like over 4 generations, and he's had this vast amount of land, but he's felt the pressure, he's felt the people around him trying to steal, trying to pillage his land, which is not truly his, is Native American land. But it's like, now this Palangi is feeling what indigenous people feel like with their whenua. We're going to stand up and fight. And now he's been fighting not only with guns, he's fighting in the fucking courtroom. So it's funny. It's a funny series. I think that's why we're drawn to it. How this guy's been championing his ainga and his whenua and trying to fight for it. It really is what the fucking series is about. Your land, what you're willing to do for it, eh?
Shot, bro. Man. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Sorry for the delays, technical difficulties, mate.
No, it's all right. That's what editing is for. Yeah, man. We'll can't wait for episode 12. I think next week. See what happens. Last 3 episodes to go, man. Let's get it. We'll be back next week. Catch you guys later. Yep. Fuck.